everyone, Omer Sherrist here, and what I'd like to do is just take a little time today and build another shop jig. I don't know how many of you have ever tried to cut that perfect circle on your bandsaw and found out that it wasn't that easy to do. Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to build a jig that will guarantee you a perfect circle every time and whatever the size. This particular jig that we're building here will vary anywhere from about a 6-inch circle right up to about a 5 or 6 foot circle, depending on the length of the tongue that you have in your jig. Now, this here goes right directly onto your bandsaw, and we'll just go through some of the parts of this jig here. It's very simple to build. Basically, it's built from scraps from the shop. And just a little bit of perfection, and you will have a perfect job every time. Now, as you can see, the centerpiece comes right out. Okay, and what I've got mounted here in the very end is a 1/4-inch dowel. This is where your piece that you're going to try to cut a circle out of will sit directly onto this here. This dowel will be centered directly into the center of that particular piece that you want to cut. Now, the length of this here can vary to whatever length you want. This particular one I've made it 33 inches long. So if you were to double that, you could go as high as 60 some inches long. Well, not quite that much, because you have to have a certain amount that's still inside your jig here for stability. But at any rate, it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of building, doing circles. Now, if we look at the bottom side of this here, we have a cleat here that I've put across here, and basically that's just to stabilize these two outside pieces, as well as I have a jam nut in here, or a bolt to tighten the slide in location once I decide where I want it, and we'll go through that. This particular cleat up here goes right up against the table on your bandsaw, and the distance from that to the front end of this here will be just up to the front of the teeth on the bandsaw. These two bolts, as you can see in here, I've just drilled through and drilled 2 holes right into the table on my bandsaw, and this will affix it in the right position every time. Now, if we look down through here, these portions here are cut on a 45-degree, and as well as on here. So as when you slide it in, it locks it right nice and tight into the jig. Alright, so now what I've done is I've mounted the jig directly onto my table on the bandsaw here with these 2 bolts. As you can see, it makes it nice and stable. It won't flop around or anything of that nature. This slide, as you can see here, depending on the size of your circle, once again, this dowel will be your centering point on this jig. Now, say in the event that I wanted to make maybe a 12-inch circle, I would measure from the center of that dowel to the front of that blade 6 inches right here. And setting that at 6 inches would give me a 12-inch circumference of that circle. In this particular case, we're going to make about a 17-inch. I've cut a piece here, 17 1/4 by 17 1/4. Now, what we do with that there, as you know, if we go right from corner to corner, corner to corner, this will give you the center point of of this particular square that we're talking about. That's where you will drill a 1/4 inch hole to maybe about a 1/4 of an inch deep for this. Now also, if you can see it here, up here in this area here, I have cut a little notch in there to allow the blade to start out nice and straight, so it's not trying to flex in around the corner. And this will give you the perfect circle by doing that route. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this up. I'll just pull this back a little bit here, and the biggest challenge here is to find that hole. But there it is right there. Now you just bring the edge of that notch right up to your blade here, so it's just touching it, and leave it at that. And then proceed underneath here to tighten that bolt up to lock this slide in place. And that'll be locked there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fire up here and cut a circle with this jig here. So there you have it, perfect circle here, cut very easily on a jig like this here. Now this here can be used for whatever you might want to choose, even say round tabletops, a small dining table or whatever. Once again, the longer you make this here, the larger the circle you can do. As you can see here, I'm just out here a little ways with this dowel, but I could at least double or triple this circle just by bringing that back to here.